my experience with Elvis Presley is one of the highlights of my life. I danced and sang in 5 of his movies, and I danced and sang and choreographed the 6th movie. And but I was telling you guys earlier, the around the 3rd movie, I think it was called Girl Happy or one of those. He overheard me talking on a break about where I grew up in the woods in Idaho, and hunting and fishing. And I was telling hunting and fishing stories because guys are asking. And he overheard me, and he invited me to come on the next break to come and sit with him at his trailer and just have a conversation. And that started a regular conversation with Elvis every movie from that point on at his trailer. And all he wanted really to talk about, he didn't want to talk about show business, I'll put it that way. He wanted to talk about when times were simpler, and for him as well, and growing up. And he told me a lot of stories about growing up. He talked a lot about his mom and his brother that he never, of course, was able to meet. But his mother told him a lot. And he was so polite and so kind and generous and respectful. It was almost shocking, because it would put you back on your heels, because he was such a kind person. And we would talk, and he would then the assistant director would come and say, Elvis, Mr. Presley, we're ready for the next shot. And he would, every time he would turn to me and say that, Jimmy, have we finished what we're talking about? Do you have anything else to say? That's why I said, well, I think, of course, we should go back, And by the time we'd walk back to the set, and by the time he got there, he was his persona, his star persona again, and continued his job. And he was always prepared, never forgot his lines, and he was absolute professional. And at the end of the last movie, which was Easy Come, Easy Go, I co-choreographed a production number because the choreographer had to go to another job. The choreographer was David Winters, who choreographed several of his movies. And David had to go to another job contractually, and he had me choreograph the number. Afterwards, we finished principal filming. Elvis and Joe Esposito, his road manager, invited me to come to NBC, I think it was NBC, and watch his comeback special, which was extraordinary. And I was about 5 feet behind the avalanche of girls that were around the stage. And he and Joe Esposito came to me afterwards and said, Joe and Elvis said, I'm going to miss our chats, Jimmy, and he wished me well. And it was just a thrill to have the entire time. And I felt, for a short period of time, we were friends. And I never saw him after that, but he was genuine, really a wonderful guy.
That's really cool. So he was like more down to earth than any of us would think. You'd think he's a show business guy, but down to earth.
Yeah, and I found that a lot with a lot of the big stars that I've worked with. They know
Right.
they're talented. They had no axe to grind, and they would like to have a conversation. I mean, working with Tom Jones, he liked smoking cigars and drinking champagne and telling jokes. It was just so relaxed and not crazy. It's crazy enough for the rest of the time for them, right?